everybody and welcome back to my channel. I just want to apologise that I haven't posted a video in about 3-4 months. Life has just been a bit crazy, but I'm finally here to sit down and do one. For any of the new people here watching, my name is Neve and this is my channel. So I thought today I would sit down and make a video that I have been wanting to make because I've been watching these videos like a lot, and that is like my book collection. As I said in my little introductory video to my channel, I love reading, and that is the very truth. I have a lot of books here with me. In my thumbnail for this video, that's only a small selection of my books, but I also bought some books today to add to my collection, so that's what made me want to film this video. Without any particular order, I am going to start, but where do I start? Should we start with the ones I've bought? Let's do that. So today, let's take out the one I'm currently reading. Today I went into my local works because they do have a good section of books in there, and I picked up some 4 books. So I picked up Love on the Brain by Ali Hazelwood. I picked this up because I recently finished reading The Love Hypothesis and I loved it. I just got carried away with the book so much, and it's become one of my favourite books of the year so far. So that's why I wanted to pick up Love on the Brain, because I have heard some really good things about it, and hopefully it lives up to The Love Hypothesis. Just reading the blurb, I'm pretty sure I'm going to love this. The next book I picked up was It Happened One Summer by Tessa Bailey. I haven't heard too much about this, but I have seen it on like Instagram pictures, which has made me intrigued. It's a very big book, which is a little bit intimidating, but I'm sure it will be good. But yes, it was on offer at the moment, £3. I thought, why not pick it up? But yes, I'm quite excited to read that one as well. I then also picked up the Kiss Content. I'm probably butchering that, but when I picked this up, I was not too sure why I picked it up. I think I was just in the thrill of all these books, but I also did like the cover. The cover sort of intrigued me as well. I think that's why I picked it up. I think because it's called The Kiss Quotient. I thought maybe it'd be like the Love Hypothesis, but not, if you know what I mean. I'm sort of in like this whole smarty pants like science thing at the moment. But yes, quite excited to read that as well. And the last book I picked up today was Twisted Games by Anna Huang. I'm really sorry if I do butcher any of these authors' names. I have got somewhere in my collection Twisted Love, I believe. Oh yeah, Twisted Love. I've not read it yet, but sorry, I thought someone was about to walk into my front door then. I haven't read it yet, but I wanted to at least get the second book so I can at least start it after reading it. It's just a weird thing that I have. I don't know if I just made sense then, but hopefully I did. Yes, I'm really looking forward to this because I've heard some good things about the Twisted series. So yes. And then I'm going to pick up the book that I'm reading currently, and that is Beach Read by Emily Henry. So far I'm really enjoying it. I'm on chapter 10 at the moment, but yeah, so far I'm really loving it. Then let's just go to this pile here because it's closest to me. So this is the pile. Oh god. So the first book in that little pile I have is When We Collided by Emery Lord. I got this for Christmas last year or the year before. I just wanted some new books, I got it. I really enjoyed it. I think I gave it 4 out of 5 stars. There was some points where it just took me out the story a bit, but again, it was a good read for me. And I went through it quite quickly. The next book in that little pile I have beside me is Anne Frank, The Diary of a Young Girl. This is sort of a classic for me. I love this book. I can read it multiple times and just get learn something from it. I think at least everyone should at least read it once, if that makes sense. I just love this book. The next book in that pile is With the Fire on High by Elizabeth Acevedo. Hopefully, I do apologise if I'm butchering that. I haven't read this one yet. It's definitely on my TBR to be read. I am looking forward to it because it's about food and I love food, and I've heard some great things about this one as well, so looking forward to reading that. The next book in my pile is Holly Bourne's The Places I've Cried in Public. Again, not read this one. Want to though. I did try and start it at one point, but I sort of, you know when all these books come out and something grabs your interest, so I started reading another one, but I definitely want to read it because I just think it's so relatable, all the places. I've cried plenty of times in public places. I also love, this book, I also love the purple siding on the pages. I think it's really cool and a nice touch to it. And I also love the texture of that. You can see the raindrops or teardrops on the page as well. Yes, looking forward to reading that one. And then next, it came in like a little book series, but I haven't got them all here with me, have I? I do have them all here with me, so I'm going to do these ones all together as one, so it just makes sense. And that is 3 books by Sarah Barnard, and that is Goodbye Perfect, A Quiet Kind of Thunder, and A Beautiful Broken Things. I have not gotten around to reading these yet, but when I do read them, I want to read them all together, because I think that worked nicely because they came together. But yeah, these pages are quite cool looking with the designs. And I think I picked it up because of the designs. I was like, oh, these books look interesting because of the covers. Yes, looking forward to reading those ones. The next book in the pile is Noughts and Crosses by Malorie Blackman. I remember reading this a very long time ago when I was in secondary school, but I can't remember the context because I've read it so many years ago and I just never got a copy until I asked for it for Christmas. And it is part of a series which are all on the back. But yes, I'm really looking forward to this and understanding it and trying to remember all the context of it. I do know it was made into a series which I haven't gotten around to watching. I think I would want to read the books before watching it just so it compares, if that makes sense. And then the next book in my pile is It's Kind of a Funny Story by Ned Vizzini. This book was so good. It's one of these ones, you got to be prepared for the topics in it, but I really enjoyed it. I really loved how it's written and his writing style of it. But yes, and it is a movie as well, so you've probably heard of it because of the movie. It's got Emma Robertson, and I can't think, this is really bad. It's got the guy from Atypical in, I can't remember what his name is, but yes, it was a very good book, so I recommend it. Then the last book I have in that pile is The Gentleman's Guide to Vice and Virtue by Mackenzie Lee. I haven't got around to reading this, but I got it because I was watching, I think it was Emma Books, that was her YouTuber that I was reading, and I was like, and I just kept seeing it on BookTube and everything. So yes, I'm really looking forward to reading it when I get to the mood where I want to sort of read this kind of book, because I like to read my books with how I'm feeling and if I'm in the mood of reading whatever books I have. So let us move on to the next pile. The next book in my collection is The Saboteur of Auschwitz. I got this for a Christmas present from my friend. I didn't say it's by Colin Rushton, sorry about that. But yes, and I haven't got a chance around to reading it. But yes, I'm looking forward to it because I believe it's based on a true story. Well, that's what I believe it is. Yeah, inspired by the inspired true story of a British soldier held prisoner in Auschwitz. Yes, I'm pretty sure that is going to be a very interesting read. The next book in my pile is The Gilded Ones by Namina Fauna. Hopefully I pronounced that correctly. I love this, look at this edging. I got this one in Waterstones. I think I bought it for myself for my birthday at one year, and I just haven't got around to reading it yet, but I'm definitely looking forward to reading it. Heard some good things about this one. And then the next book in my pile is another popular one I've seen everywhere, and that is The Inheritance Games by Jennifer Lynn Barnes. Again, it's a very popular one. I've seen it everywhere. It's had, from videos I've seen, it's got very mixed reviews, but it's made me a little bit nervous reading it, but I'm sure I love it. Then the next book in my pile is You and Me. The way they've written it really confuses me. You and Me at the End of the World by Brianna Bourne. I've read this one and I loved it. At first I was like, oh, it's going to be, but then stuff happens, there's twists and turns, and it's one of those ones that makes you want to go, oh, come on, just get together already. But again, I recommend this one, love it. Then the next book in my pile is Wuthering Heights by Emily Bronte. I've wanted to have this one year because I was obsessed with a musical that Cliff Richards did called Heathcliff, and I wanted to know the story more about Wuthering Heights, and I wanted the actual book because at that point I was reading it on my phone, but it didn't have the same feel to it, so I wanted to read it from the book to see if it had a different phone. But yes, I'm looking forward to getting into this one. Then the next book in my pile is Everything by Nicola Yoon. Again, can tell it's got the movie picture of the two characters on there. I haven't gotten around to reading it yet, but looking forward to it. I've not read the film. I've not watched the film yet, so again, I think I'm going to read the book then watch the film because I'm that type of person. Next book in my pile is The Names They Gave Us by Emery Lord. I've read this one, really liked it. I think, if I can remember, I gave this 4 out of 5 stars. It's sort of like a opposites come together, if that makes sense. Opposites attract, I'm trying to say. But yes, I really enjoyed it. It did take me a bit more longer because I did feel like at some points it was a bit slow paced, but even though I enjoyed it. Then the next book in my pile is Daisy Jones and the Six. It is by Taylor Jenkins Reid, who also wrote the really popular The Seven Husbands of Evelyn Hugo, which I have not yet got, but I'm looking forward to reading this one, and it is on my TBR as well. Then the next book we have, which is Call It What You Want by Brigid Kemmerer. Again, I do apologise. I've read this one. I absolutely love it. I think I read it in about 3-4 days. I could not put this book down. Again, it's very much opposites attract, but they're not quite opposites, does that make sense? It was such a quick read for me and I really, really enjoyed it. The characters, I just fell for them and I was like, they just gave me like, oh my god, they're so cute vibes, you know? But yes. Then the next book in my pile is A Faux Love Story by Loanne Lee. I really enjoyed this one. At some points it was very slow paced, but it was very much a retelling of Romeo and Juliet without, you know, the situation at the end of that. But yes, it was a really cute book, and how they sort of come together and find out what their passions are and how they wanted the best and how they wanted them both to do their own passions, really. So yeah, that was probably a really bad little snippet of what the book is about, so I do apologise. Then the last book in this pile is, as I said before when I went through Love on the Brain, it's one of my favourite books, and that is The Love Hypothesis by Ali Hazelwood. Oh my god, let me tell you, I fell in love with this book. I loved the characters, how their process of the whole fake dating. What more can you love? And it was set in college and it was like all smarties, but oh my god, I fell in love with this book. Oh my god, Adam and Olive. I was really sad when this book ended, but it was the cutest thing ever, and oh, if you haven't read it, I would strongly recommend this. Love, love, love. We are almost done, I promise. Then the next book I have in my book collection is American Royals by Katharine McGee. I haven't read this one yet. I'm still trying to find time. As I said, I like to read my books if like what's calling me and what I'm in the mood to read. Like the covers really interest me a lot, so whatever one is screaming at me to read, then that's one I'll read. But hopefully I'll get a chance to get into this. I believe it is a part of a series, if I'm not mistaken, but this is the only one I've got, the first one. But look at that page, pink, I do like books when they do that. It's just an extra quirk that they have, but I'm looking forward to reading this. Then the next book is All the Bright Places by Jennifer Niven. Hopefully that's pronounced correctly. This book, read it, broke my heart, but I loved it. I think it was such a cute story to read. The characters, they were so relatable in points, and like I just read it so quickly, and then I was a bit heartbroken, but it's such a good book. And it is now also a film, and I believe it's on Netflix. Then the next book we have is Hold Back the Stars by Katie Khan. Again, I have not seen or heard anything about this. I just picked it up because I thought it was quite cute, and I loved the cover, like the faces, and also when I read the blurb I was like, it sounds quite cute and lovely and dovey, but again, I'm looking forward to reading this one as well. The next book I have in my book collection is Fangirl by Rainbow Rowell. Okay, I got this because I just saw so many people on YouTube talk about it, and then I was like, I just want to see what the hype is about, and it wasn't one of my favourites, I'm going to be honest. There was points where I was just like, oh, come on. It is quite a slow paced book. There was points where I did like it and everything. Yes, especially when they had like the fan fiction bits come in. But again, once I read it, I was like, okay, I've read it now. Would I read it again? Possibly not. But yes. And then the next book, or books I should say, in my collection is the Selection series. So I've got this, it comes with all the books in it. So it's got the Selection, the Elite, the One, the Heir, and then the Crown in it as well. I haven't got a chance to read all these yet, but once I do, at least I know I've got all the ones, I can carry on the story. But yes. Then in our very last pile here beside me, you can see the top of the books here. The last one on top is A Court of Thorns and Roses by Sarah J. Maas. I have not read this one yet. I was going to be the next book I read before Beach reads, but I wasn't feeling a fantasy one at that point. Then the next book in my pile is Twisted Love, again by Anna Huang. The first book of the Twisted series. I watched whose video did I watch? It was Alexa Ray's on YouTube's booktube, and she sort of recommended it and I bought it. I just loved how she felt about it, and I was like, hopefully I'll have the same reaction. But yes, it's a very popular book, and I've seen a lot about it online and everywhere, but I'm looking forward to reading that. Then the next book in my pile I have is The Upside of Unrequited by Becky Albertalli. I loved this book. I fell in love with the characters. I relate so much to the main character, Molly. Yes, it was such a good read, and it was such an easy read as well. You just followed on, and you just followed along with the story, and you just it made me feel like I was part of it, if that makes sense. Yes. Then the next book in my book collection is The Two Lives of Lydia Bird. Again, not really heard much about this one. I bought it in Aldi because they had some books in Aldi, and I was like, oh, these look quite, and I read the blurbs and everything. But yes, I'm looking forward to this. Yes, not really heard much, but I'm looking forward to get into it. Then the next book out of my collection is Ink by Alice Broadway. I'm gonna be honest, I bought it because of the cover, but look at that cover. Isn't that gorgeous? It just caught my eye. I began reading this, and then I sort of went into a book slump and I didn't finish it, but I'm hoping to get back into it and get more of the series, because I believe it is a series, and yes, carry on with it and hopefully love it. And then the next book in my book collection is The Black Flamingo by Dean Atta. Can I just say, I loved this book. It is such an easy read of how it's written. So if I sort of show you, so it's like there's like illustrations as well, but it's like sort of written in like, I don't know how to put that, like how to tell you, but it's such a good book, and I got it through it quite quickly. What can I say more? definitely recommend. Then the next book in my book collection, I'm gonna say books, is books that I needed for my Open University course. I haven't come around to using them yet because I haven't gone to that point, but I thought I'd show you together because these are actually for uni. So the first book of my uni materials that I had to get was Charles Dickens' A Christmas Carol and other Christmas books. As we're getting close to Christmas and December, I think I'm gonna possibly read some of the books that are the stories that are in here, like at a time, just to get a bit more in the Christmas feel, because everyone loves Christmas. But yes, that's the first book. And then the second book I had to buy was, okay, I'm gonna butcher pronouncing this, is Sophocles Antigone. Again, I've not really heard of it before, but it seems very interesting and very in-depth, so very looking forward to that. And then the last book in that sort of path for uni is The Faber Book of Beasts, edited by Paul Muldoon. I believe these are poems, I believe. Unless I've got that confused, but when I get to it, hopefully it'll be so interesting to hear if they are poems, because I've never really had a poem book or read a poem book, but yeah, that'll be interesting. Next book I have is The Sisters of Auschwitz, the true story of two Jewish sisters' resistance in the heart of Nazi territory. Is this the one? Okay, I haven't started this one either, but I am very interested in reading this because I did read The Tattoo of Auschwitz, and also I do have another book that I'm going to mention right now, but I don't have it at the moment because my auntie is borrowing it to read, and that is Shilka's Journey. I really enjoy these books because I think they are so eye-opening and so moving with how they're written, as they're based on true stories. But yes, very looking forward to reading that. I don't know if I'm even making sense by saying that, but yes. The next book I have in my collection is Three Sisters by Heather Morris. Heather Morris is the author of The Tattoo of Auschwitz and Shilka's Journey, and I bought this because I wanted to carry on because I really do love her writing styles. It's so easy to get lost. Again, it's moving, eye-opening and thought-provoking. But yes, very looking forward to reading that one. And then we've literally got 4 more books to go through. So the next book I have in my collection is Holly Bourne, What's a Girl's Got to Do. I bought this because I quite like the blurb about how to start a feminist revolution. But yes, I've not started reading this one yet, but hopefully in the future. I might just, with all the ones I haven't read yet, I might just put all the book names in a bowl and then just pull it out, and that's how I pick my next book instead of always going back and forth. The next book in my book collection is The Spanish Love Deception by Elena Armas. This is another recent buy for me. Let me tell a story of why I got this. It was because I actually bought 2 copies of Beach Read, and I had to take one to exchange, and I picked this one up instead because I really liked the cover. I love this sort of design with the covers, and the blurb really got to me as well about fake dating and that. But then the next book we have is Unexpected Lessons in Love by Lucy Dillon. I began reading this, but I went into a reading slump and I didn't read it for a very long time, and I thought I'd rather read it again instead of picking up from where I got, read it from the beginning again, retake it all in and remember what's happening. But yes, from what I remember, it was a lot happens in the beginning, let me just say that. And then it just didn't help that I was in a reading slump and I didn't want to finish it. But definitely we're going to give it another go and hopefully get through to the end of it. Then the next book I have is Love Boat Taipei by Abigail Hing Wen. I'm going to be very honest with you, this one took quite long for me to get into because I found it quite a slow pace in the beginning, but I did get into it as the middle and came in, and as I got further in I got into it a lot. But I've really enjoyed it, yes. I love the cover of this. It's just stunning. And then again with the pages with this lovely teal blue. But yes, I really did like this book. And I do believe there's another book this sort of has come out with, I should say. Yes, and I'm really looking forward to reading that if I get round to getting it, if I can find it. Oh, and then the last book in my book collection is Boy Queen by George Lester. I picked it up because I loved that cover, like look at it, and because I read Black Flamingo, I thought I love this book. I haven't got around to reading it yet, but I know I'm just gonna love it. So that is the end of the video about my book collection. If you enjoyed it, please give me a like, subscribe, and possibly comment what your thoughts are some of the books in my book collections, and if you have any recommendations for books that I can buy and read. But yes, I hope you enjoyed this video, and I hope you have a lovely day wherever you are. Bye!